I see you, Miss Rowena Carter. So guys, happy Monday. I'm glad to be back on another Monday. We're going live here, and I'm excited about it because this thing is just rolling, and I'm getting a lot of good feedback about the content I'm giving out. So I'm really happy about that. But I just want to thank everybody for jumping on these lives with me, and I'm hoping and continue to hope that I can provide some valuable content for you so that you can provoke you to do some things that help improve your life, especially focus on your fitness and making things better in your life. So today's topic, we're going to talk today, and this one I said to myself, I was like, you know what, the people that are coming to me looking for help, we're busy professionals, we're out there, everyone out, we got a lot of stuff going on. The world has been changing lately, and there's been a lot of things that are starting to pick back up. So life is starting to get back to where it normally was. And so some of the free time that we have, some of the time away from work, that stuff is starting to go away. And today I want to make sure that I talk about this because I think this is one of the major challenges for most people when it comes to reaching their fitness goals, but more importantly, doing the things that are most important to you. So I just want to take a time right now because when I go live, my biggest thing right now is just to make sure that I'm making sure that I'm getting the right information to you. So the first thing I want to say is this: I want to thank everyone for last week who had all the guys who jumped on my invitation to do the market research with me. I had some great interviews last week, so I want to tell you guys thank you for that. I want to tell you the content that the conversation that we had was very valuable, so I appreciate that, and I look forward to doing more work with you guys in the future. But what I want to say is this week I'll be asking the ladies to join me for a quick Zoom market research. Is about 20 minutes, and with that, it's going to be very exciting. So what I want to get in today I want to start talking about is we all want to be more productive. And I think the biggest thing right now when we think about our success at what we do, when it comes to the things that we want to experience in our lives, the things that we want to do in terms of making sure that we're forging away and making progress in our life, a lot of times what we're doing is we're trying to figure out how we can get more time. And really what I want to talk about is like time is infinite, but you only have so much time in a day. Okay. And what I want to talk today about is more about managing your energy and not your time. So you probably could tell me how many hours you work on an average per day, but I bet most people can't tell me how much energy they've spent on it that's available each day for them to use, right? Because that's harder to measure. Like you can tell, like if you started to work from 9 to 5, you've worked 8 hours. You understand how that works. But in terms of understanding your energy, that's one of those things that are very hard to manage. But time might be consistent, but it's not the same with energy. And the reason why I say this is because listening to a lot of the interviews and listening to people that I work with, one of the biggest challenges is the fact that they're so tired. There's so many things that have to go on in the day. There's so many distractions. There's so many decisions that have to be made. There's a lot of stuff going on. And the biggest challenge is just making sure you have enough energy to do the things you want. See, I've come to realize that the secret for personal freedom is accepting yourself and aligning your personal energy needs with the purpose of your work. And so, in my experience, and, I say this enough, but in my experience, I've spent a lot of time, working days, 10 to 12 hour days, traveling so much, and really realizing like, am I working my purpose? Am I doing the things that motivate me every day to get up? And with that being said, am I utilizing my energy in the places that are going to continue to keep me sustained and focusing and continue pushing myself? Some of the decisions I will tell you before COVID happened, I had to make some really hard decisions to change things around for myself. I sat here and, I've supported companies. I've done a lot of sales training. I've done a lot of culture development, leadership development. Those things I'm very passionate about. But at the same time too, there's a lot of in-between work. There's a lot of the hard stuff that you got to do to make that successful. And one of those things I had to decide is, do I really want to continue doing this? Is this what drives me to get up every morning, to get up on a Monday morning at 3:00 in the morning to catch a shuttle ride to LAX, to catch the first flight out, to then work 10 to 12 hours that day and to stay on the road, just moving and shaking? Is that really what I want to do? Or do I want to find ways to make sure I can make a bigger impact in those that really need my help where they need help? And that's one of those things that I say when I start talking about energy, my focus changed. What it came down to for me was, it isn't necessarily about making more money or just working for myself. Although those things help. But the more and more that I've learned how to manage my energy, the more my anxiety has decreased, and I'm more satisfied, have more satisfaction with my life, how that's increased, and I'm just happier. I feel happier about what I'm doing. I feel calmer. So these are the things I want to really talk to you guys about today, because when it's all said and done, my goal right now is to help you have a level 10 life. I want you to have the best life, but I know that fitness stands as a big part of that, to help you really convert your energy, to really be able to have the focus, have the onset, the positive outlook on your life. Because a lot of the things that you're doing, a lot of things that you see in front of you, we're driven by those thoughts. And a lot of times we don't realize that our energy is a big piece. And that's why I know fitness, being in shape, getting yourself to be in the best physical shape that you possibly can really change how productive you are. Because one thing I can tell you right now is that it's very difficult to look at your day and say, how can I find more time to do what I want? That's very, very daunting. And so the reason why I say this is because the one thing that I can help you, and I know for sure that I can help you with, is that it's not about getting you more time, but I definitely can help you find more energy. I can definitely help you create more energy so you have the capacity to do those things and do them at a high level, to be a high performer, and to then start seeing yourself move up in your career, being able to do the things that you really want, to get yourself in order, to have structure in your life, those things that really start to make a difference, opposed to, being where you are. And, and I'll say it really seriously, like either, being complacent and staying where you are, or failing. It's the difference between having some structure and routine in your life and taking action. And without energy and without being able to manage that energy, it's going to be very, very difficult. So I want to tell you this, my personal productivity has increased. And I will say this is that, the more and more that I focus on managing my energy instead of my time, it's made a big difference. And so that's what I want to share with you guys today, because, when it comes down to, how do you get in better shape based on your current situation right now? You're busy. Think about this, like our life has changed. We went from, only being, taking care of ourselves to, having a spouse, having a husband or wife, having kids, having a career, getting up every day. It's like, where's your priorities at? And when you look at your time, how do you manage your time, and how do you manage to do the things that are really important to you every day? Once the day ends, you look back and you reflect, did you accomplish the things that you really wanted, that was necessary for you to not only make sure that you're taking care of yourself, but you're also taking care of the things that are most important? That's like everything when it comes down to this coaching program. A lot of people are looking for the wrong things and focusing on the wrong areas, and it's continuing to keep you in this cycle of not really obtaining and progressing in your life. And so I want to make sure that for today, there's nothing else but to get you to understand that focusing on your energy is much more important than focusing on your time. Although time blocking and all those kind of things are principles and habits that I created for myself, it's more about my energy. So, what else I discovered? The one thing I tell you, and I finally admit this to myself, is that I have less energy than I have time in every day, right? So if you really think about it, like, in a 24-hour period, think about how much you actually work, and think about how much time you actually spend doing the best work, And so, when I thought about that, it blew my mind, and it transformed me to look at how I work, right? So, you really only work about 3 to 4 hours a day when you're at a very high energy and very sharp and focused to create the best work you have. And that's it, like 3 to 4 hours. So even if you're coming to work, think about how you start work, how the middle of your day goes, and how your end of the day goes. I will tell you right now, you're probably only doing your best work between 3 to 4 hours. And in that window, are you looking at and are you thinking about the work you should be doing in those 3 to 4 hours so that you can be most effective, the most efficient, and make sure that you're actually doing work that's going to make a difference towards your goals? Think about that. Like, do you know when you have the best window of time for yourself to accomplish the things that are necessary today to get you closer to the goal that you want tomorrow or later? Those are the things that I want to talk about, because now we start to maybe change the way we're starting to look and think about these things. And I will tell you, the trick isn't how to expend those period of high energy hours, but how to make the best use of it. Okay. So it's not about making it, how can you take that 3 to 4 hours and make it 6 in a day, right? Just because maybe you got more sleep, whatever. But that focus, that ability to get through that time, I will tell you, we're going to have another conversation about some more details about this, but I will tell you that is what we have to focus on, is those 3 to 4 hours a day where you're at your best. Okay. That's what you want to do. So the thing about this, and I want to say this to just be like super clear, is that, your life is a sum of your thoughts, right? Your life is your thoughts guide your habits, and your habits create the lifestyle you're living, right? Your available energy, though, is the fuel for those habits to develop. So the quality and the availability of your energy have more influence over the development of your habits than the thoughts that guide their development. So think about that. Like when you start thinking about a habit and you start thinking about the things that are going to be important, like in order for you to, like, it's one thing to say, I want to exercise and I want to make sure that, I'm getting in the gym so many times a week, so for an hour a day, 5 days or 6 days a week. The thought is one thing, but in order to actually do it, it takes energy to do it. And when you're thinking about that, you're driven by the thought, but you're actually able to accomplish it by the energy. And so what you have to start to think about is, how are you going to be able to use your energy better? So here's some reasons to seriously think about, why we might want to manage our energy and not our time. All right. So the first thing I want to say, and this one is pretty solid, is your energy is not consistent like time. Your energy is fuel that propels you through time, but it isn't consistent. Think about it. How many, like even today, it's Monday. It's the first day of the week. You maybe have some time to rest, but are you feeling tired from the weekend? Did you start work? Did you go in clear-minded, focused, and ready, but you're like, man, I'm ready to go home. I want to take a nap. Okay. That's because time is going to go, and it's going to go no matter what you do, but your energy is not going to stay at that same level. See, our energy levels go up and down throughout the day, and approximately like 90-minute cycles. And they call that the Altranian Rhythm. And what that is like the fact that every 90 minutes, your energy will peak and it'll dip. And it'll peak and it'll dip. So if you think about that every hour and a half, and you're talking about 3 to 4 hours a day, that's happening a few times within your workday. And the question is, when you start to really, really think about that, is do you see that, and are you using that time the most effectively? So even I have Tasha on here. Thank you, Tasha, for your point over here. She's saying right here, it says, yes, your energy, that can improve and influence your mindset. It's a big deal. It literally, and it's crazy because, if I go back and just talk about the benefits of exercising chemically changes the way that your brain thinks and how it operates. So when you have great energy and your energy is high, or you're at a place out of your day where you have high energy, you should be focusing on those things that matter the most. And I've learned this because, you guys, we're all still out there, having these desires and want to do better in our lives. But there's so many things you want to do. This idea that you're going to do all these things at one time. You're not going to get those things accomplished. You wonder why it's taking you so long to get to the goals that you want, to accomplish the things. And there's sometimes you've been able to accomplish some things, but it's probably took you longer to get there than it should have. And it's just like your weight loss program. You get in the best shape you want to get into. You're trying to focus on too many things. And because of that, because you're listening to too many things, taking too much advice and doing this, you're stopping, whatever else, you're so confused and your energy is not focused. That is one of the biggest detriments to our success, is lack of focus and distraction. Okay? So there are several factors that influence our energy. Okay? And these things are pretty common, right? How much sleep you get. It's huge. Okay? What you eat, how often we take breaks, who we spend our time with. That's just a big deal. Some people out there can drain your energy. I try to stay away from them. Those energy drainers, man, it's tough sometimes. But I like to keep myself around people that have the kind of same energy I do. What we're thinking about drains our energy. How we move, or we exercise, our emotions, our purpose, or the lack of it. Right? When you guys are thinking about your career, or you're thinking about, even if you have a job and maybe it's a in between because you're focusing on building a business or whatever, but when you start thinking about that thing that you really want, or that thing that you feel like you've been, born or created to do, what does that do to your energy? You know, you guys get me. I get on here and I've been told like, hey man, like, hey bro, you talk so fast. I'm like, it's because of the energy that's behind the purpose that I'm serving, because I feel I'm so passionate about it. And when I think about it, like, I really focus on the fact that the best part of me is when I can be in a place where I know I'm doing something that has purpose, something that I feel that moves me, that gives me it just ignites me. Like when I get ready for these lives, you know, I'll be honest with you, like I'm ready to go, you know. And right now, I hope you guys can feel that energy. If you feel that energy, give me some love on here. It's like we know that you know, making sure we get better rest, making sure that we're eating better, you know, making sure that we're taking breaks, making sure that we're doing the things and exercising and making sure we're preparing our bodies for the right things, but making sure we have purpose, you know, making sure that we understand our emotions and being able to not be triggered and let triggers distract us, and triggers drain our energy, and energy draining people drain our energy, right? So, you know, the thing is when we're talking about just fortifying ourselves and putting ourselves in a place where it's more about having you know, a focus on your energy and your time, then we start to really make a big difference. So the thing is right here when we talk about is those fluctuating energy levels is how much time we use when we get it done. So when you're more energized and focused, you probably perform a task more quickly with fewer mistakes than when you are feeling tired. And I will tell you right now, like, you know, there's been some days where I've had work to get done. I just got to get it done. Like there's a timeline. I got to get it done. I'm accountable for it. And I go back and look at it. I'm like, oh man, I skipped some words. I did this because I was tired. And some of us do a lot of work trying to push ourselves so much to get things done. And you start telling yourself, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to put a consistent workout plan in my daily routine. But think about what you're doing. Are you really utilizing your energy correctly? And is it really a time issue? Is it really a time issue? Because there are we all have 24 hours. And in a 24-hour day, you know, to do work when you're completely exhausted, when you're doing work when you're tired and don't have the focus, why are you doing it? You know, I have to tell myself I got to shut down at some point. I'm like, I want excellence. I want to have a standard in my life of excellence. And to do excellent work, I got to be focused. At excellent work, I got to make sure that I'm not making those mistakes and wasting my time. But to do excellent work, you got to make sure that you use your time when your energy when your energy is on fire. That's where you start to win. That's when you start to make deal. Tell me, you know that you've got in. You're like, man, I got through some stuff today. But then later on, you don't feel as excited. Don't wait to do the most important things when your energy is down. Do the most important things when your energy is on fire. Okay? It's like, imagine driving a car, right? Right? And as you're driving a car and you use more gas to climb a hill, but when you go downhill, you use less gas, right? When you're going downhill. This is like energy. And it's like this every day. And it's consistently going up and down, up and down, and up and down. So the point is, instead of using principles of time management to organize your entire day, imagine organizing your task by your level of energy, okay? That's a difference. That's why when I get up in the morning, I get to the gym. Like the first thing I do in the morning is I have a clarity walk. I spend some time with myself. I write down the things that are important for me to do and the goals I have. I get to the gym. I go beast mode because I'm getting up, I'm fresh, my energy is on fire. But before I even did that, I spent time on me first, on my focus, setting myself up for success for the day, putting positive things in my mind, focusing on what's important so I can utilize my energy on the things that are super important for me to accomplish so I can get to my goals. That's what I want for you. This is what this is about, okay? So when we're talking and we're looking at like, hey, like, what's the next thing we have to do? Like, again, I'm gonna get to this. You know, if you're writing to-do lists, we need to quit that. Like, we need to quit that. It's not about that. So the second thing we're going to talk about is your purpose is the core of your energy. And I've already said this. It's like you might believe that you have all the time in the world, but if you aren't focused on what motivates you, you're wasting both your time and your energy. You know, and again, like the purpose of your work is the core to your personal energy. It compels you to take action. And it replenishes and it sustains the rest of your source of your energy source. So one thing I will tell you is When you gain this clarity about your why in your work life, you'll find a boost of energy. I know I did, right? But your why will also help you sustain your momentum as you continue to the long journey towards your purpose. And again, people have this thing about what's my purpose, You'll find your purpose, right? And I'm just going to say this because this comes from, when my heart is and what I believe is, a lot of times we're looking for a purpose, but, and we're looking at having all these things going on, but sometimes we're just not paying attention. Like, we got to get our mind right. Okay. I know that God will come to you. He's just waiting for us. What your purpose is right there. But until you get your mind right, where you can focus and get rid of the noise, then you can start to hone in and pay attention to what your purpose is. And if you are sitting here and you have these ideas and things that come to you, but you doubt yourself because you don't believe that purpose or that idea is something that's your purpose, maybe we have to have another conversation. But that might be the message you're looking for. And this might be the time where you're doing something and maybe it's making money, but it's not giving you the energy. It's not pumping you up. It's not getting you excited. It's not motivating you and pushing you forward to do more. Just like the same thing when you have purpose to your fitness program, to make commitments, to make sure that you reach the goals you have. Think about that. Like, how many of you guys have been training, working out, and stopping and going, getting on diets and doing this and doing that, but always just dabbling, but never fully committing because you haven't focused on the purpose of what you're doing and allow your purpose to drive you and allow your purpose to make sure that your commitments they stick. That's like, this is where the transformations really happen, everybody. Like, this is where life-changing transformations happen. But you have to be clear and understand why. Why is so more important than what or how. Why is the most important thing. So the third thing I want to talk about is habits take a lot of energy, but also can save you time. So that third thing is, if you want to design your lifestyle around your work, you're always wanted to, you're going to have to make some changes to your habits. And habits are the foundation of your lifestyle design. See, habits initially take a lot of energy to develop. And I know this because, getting yourself to make the transformation I did, to be such a busy person out doing all this other stuff, and then really have to go like hunker down and say, what are the most important things? What do I really want to do? And why do I want to do these things? That took a lot of energy. But because of that, you're consciously thinking about the development of those habits. How are you going to be like, going from not being somebody that works out all the time, that has a healthy lifestyle? It does take a lot of energy to get started, because what it's doing is that it takes focused thought that's requires a lot of energy for you to figure out what do you need to do so you can learn it. So that at the end of the day, like, you can make this transformation or you can make these changes in your life. But once the habit is established, however, it saves a lot of energy, because those particular routines will be automatic and not require any thought at all. Like, and I'll give you one. Have you guys been, driving to your new job or going to a location and you don't know where you're going? Okay. Or you're like, I said that you're driving home from work or you're driving to work. Have you even thought about, as you're driving, what you're thinking about? You're probably not thinking about, which street you got to turn on and this street you got to turn on. It's like automatic. Your brain is on autopilot because it's a habit. You're so used to doing it, you don't even think about it. But as soon as you got to go to a new place, you got to go somewhere else, your job transfers, or you got to do this. Now all of a sudden, you got to think about where to go, what time you should leave, where's the traffic, where to turn, what street is it on? All that stuff that you have to do. Then on the way back home, what's the best way to get home? You're thinking about all this stuff until it becomes a habit, and now you're not thinking about it anymore. It's the same thing with building new habits. Like, you're going to go through that period of time, but the best part about it is once you develop the habit, it easily clears the way for you to not use that energy. And look, when it comes down to it, evolutionary biologists believe that the brain conserves valuable energy throughout creating habits. Okay, approximately 40% of your actions you take on a daily, every day are habits, and they require no thought. 40%. So almost half the things you do on a daily basis, you're not even thinking about it. Okay, and the crazy thing about it is, when we really start to think about what are things that we could do to improve, it's like if you can get to a place where you develop a habit you don't have to think about, that's positive, that's going to be something that's going to make a big difference in your life that you'll be able to focus on, that is like the best thing that ever happened to you. It's because now you have something you have to think about that's benefiting your life. And that's why, getting into having a healthier lifestyle, to eating right, like to not have to struggle on those things, prepping yourself, creating those habits really make a difference, okay? But time, when it comes down to time management, is about cranking through a to-do list as fast as you can. I got all this stuff to do today. I got to get started earlier because I got all this stuff to do. I started to realize that, like people say, you got to write to-do lists, and they're checking off this stuff. And I'm like, what the hell are you accomplishing checking off all this stuff? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're checking all these things off. I hope all these things you're checking off are very important. I hope these things that you're checking off actually make a difference in your life. I hope all these things you're checking off are helping you get to your goal. If they're not have that kind of like value in what they are going to produce for you, get them off your damn list. Like, they should not be there. And that's what I'm talking about. It's why would you waste your energy on a bunch of stuff that makes no difference? Oh, I got to get this done. Okay, but is there other things that you can use this valuable energy for to help you accomplish the things that you actually want to do? So, guys, these are areas, these are things that we're really talking about. And if you've been struggling with, you say, I got to write a to-do list because I keep forgetting to do things. It's like, if you're forgetting it, it's not that important. I'll be honest with you. And if you really want to maximize the situation, prioritize. This should be like 3 things you focus on a daily basis. You shouldn't be focusing on like getting 10 things done. And if you do, there's no problem. Get the top 3 things done. And then if you have time, get the rest of those things done, right? But you ever wonder like why to-do lists like can be so exhausting? You ever think about that? Like, think about why like you have all these things, you're trying to get them done. They're so exhausting, you just don't get them done. It's because each task becomes a decision, requires energy. Habits have the potential to drastically reduce your to-do list and save your energy by turning your common work tasks into habits. That's what you got to think about. And that alone in itself will change a lot of things for you, create more time for you, because you're not focusing on things that are useless and not worth your energy, okay? So, speaking on decisions, the 4th thing is make fewer decisions, okay? So we talk about managing our energy and not our time. Is that in your 9-to-5 lifestyle, our status is enhanced the more responsibilities we require. The more responsibilities we have, the more decisions we have to make. Yet these increase in our status comes with hidden cost. The more decisions we have to make, the more decision fatigue sets in and saps our energy. Like decision fatigue, like you're tired, like you just can't make any decisions anymore. Like, what's for dinner? You've had all these stuff to worry about. Now, how many people at home with your husband and wife? I know what happens. I know what happens around my house here and there. It's like, what do you want to eat for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? Nobody wants to make a decision because you're tired of making decisions all damn day, right? So when it comes down to it, decisions eat up a lot of time, energy, and our brain has to focus on making new choices. And that's what the thing we got to do on. So when you work for yourself, or when you work for yourself, you must reduce the number of decisions you have to make in order for you to conserve your energy for the most important work. These are the things that are light bulbs in my head. Like there's even times where people are asking me for stuff. Like, I cannot focus on that because if I do, it's going to use the best part of my energy to focus on the things that I need to get done so I can be most effective, so I can make the impact that I desire, so I can have the time with my family like I want, so I can go out and take care of myself, get to the gym, and make sure I do the things that keep me healthy and strong. Otherwise, I'm going to be exhausted trying to do everything for everybody and not really focusing on what those things are important for me. And that's not considered selfish. That's considered focusing and making sure you're doing the right things, not wasting time, okay? And I say you, Marty, I know you feeling me, bro. Like, it's a big deal, right? And I will tell you this, and I like this comment. Tasha, she says, yes, I was indecisive for a whole year straight, and it zaps your energy because you're going back and forth. It's like a yo-yo. It's exhausting. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's not something that is going to get you to the point where you want to go. It's not going to get you to the level. It's not going to get you to the place in your life, in decision. And I will say this, and I'll tell you, Tasha. So the first thing I'll tell you is one of the common characteristics of unsuccessful people is their inability to make decisions. I'm gonna tell you this. I took that because there was times where I was like, I'm a good decision maker because I really think through the process and I really understand. And I make sure I make the right decision. But I realized I was taking too damn long to make the decision. And when I heard this, I was like, you know what? It's right. What happens? Why does that happen? Why is it true? It's because the longer it takes you to make a decision, more of the time you don't make a decision. And because you don't make the decision, you don't take the action. So therefore, you're not moving forward. You're not learning. You're not progressing. And even if you fail, making a decision will help you learn so that you can make better decisions. And when you start making quicker decisions, you start to either learn or fail, and finally succeed. That's where it came to me. I was like, stop taking, I'm not, if you say, hey, where do you want to eat? And you suggest, let's go eat tacos or let's go get this. I'm not about to sit over here and be like, well, what about this place? Or what about this person? I'm not about to do that because that's a waste of time, wasted energy that I don't need to be wasting. And to be honest with you, I don't want to build a habit of that. So reducing your decisions through elimination, automation, delegation, which is a huge piece. So you can use your limited energy for the most important decision. So here goes my last thing. And this, I'm going to wrap this up here is monotask. Don't multitask. Monotask. People that tell me that they're experts at monotasking or multitasking, you can't multitask. You can't do a multiple thing. You think you can, and you might be good at getting away with stuff that people aren't paying attention to. But multitasking is not a talent. That is a waste. And if you really, really, really want, if you look at the most successful people and their habits, their ability to focus on one thing is the reason why they're successful. You think about it. You guys, think about this. Think about it. The most successful people the most successful people that we know out in the world, they're good at one thing. One thing. That's just one thing. Singers, good at singing. Actors, good at acting. Football players, good at playing football. Basketball players, good at playing basketball. Piano, good at playing the piano. The contractor guy is good at contracting. You master the one thing. You don't need to be a master of all. It's not going to happen, okay? But this is the thing. There's plenty of research that debunks the productivity effectiveness of multitasking. Trying to get a variety of tasks done in less time leads to mistakes, reduced quality, and wasted time to fix the mistakes when they're made. Stop multitasking. For any energy management perspective, a more productive method is monotasking. One. Monotasking means grouping relative work tasks together. So examples are like when I have to make phone calls, I have to return phone calls, maybe write a proposal, maybe update some marketing material, whatever else. I do them in chunks. So if I have to call, different people, I make all my phone calls at one point. I don't go and make a phone call, then send an email, then work on this and then work on that. That is going to kill your energy. It's not going to get you anywhere. So what I started to do, and this, you could use this, is if you have to make 10 phone calls throughout the day, make the 10 phone calls at once. If you have to send your emails, go to your email, send all your emails back at once. Do them in chunks and focus on that thing. Not only will you be more focused and more present in those conversations, you'll be more focused on the emails and making sure that you're having good exchange, and any other things you're working on. You'll be more effective and you'll be more focused. But monotasking or work on one type of task at a time reduces the number of times your brain needs to switch between connections and reduce the amount of energy that's required for you to get more work done. So when we really think about this, my goal for having this live today was to talk to you about again, look, I'm an online fitness coach, and really for me, I work with busy professionals, people that are, even the driven entrepreneurs, you guys that are just really hustling out there. And one of the things that you cannot throw my way is to be like, oh man, I'm too busy, man. I'm too busy. You know better. That's not what I was going to get to you. And one of the things I want to talk about is, someone says, the first thing someone says is I got to do better with my time. I got to time manage. And I'm like, man, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to drive yourself into a wall. The reason why you're doing what you're doing right now, because you're not focused on the right things. And so, tell me right now, when you guys, after hearing all this, doesn't it make more sense to focus on your energy than it does focus on your time? You have valuable things you need to do on a daily basis. And I think majority of the reason why people fail, the reason why people do not get ahead, why people don't successfully complete fitness programs and get in shape and they drive themselves so to be unhealthy and do all this kind of stuff, is because you're trying to do too much at the wrong time. You're not focused on the most important things you need to be doing. You think everything is important. If it's like, screaming at you, it'll take your attention right away. And so what I want to just say to you guys today is that, when you're looking at the next things you're going to do and focusing on building a healthier lifestyle to put yourself in a position where, you can manage your life, where you have this freedom and you have this ability to do the things you want, where you don't have to get up every day and feel like, man, this is daunting. Like I talked about is, understanding the purpose behind this and understanding that your energy is the biggest thing. And the one thing that I can help you for sure with, and the one thing I know that can make a big difference in your life is helping you to create more energy. Exercise, fitness, healthy nutrition is going to create an abundance of energy for you. It's going to allow you to have a better focus, a better clarity. Not only is it going to make you feel more confident and make you feel, that you've accomplished something, but you're going to go out there and handle your business like a boss. And that's what we're talking about. The whole reason for me to say, I've been in the corporate world and I've worked at that level and I've seen people struggle. I've seen some amazing people really cut themselves short because they don't take care of themselves. They make every excuse under the sun. I'm too busy. I travel too much. People tell me they travel too much. I said, man, I was traveling 22 days a month. I got in one of the best shapes of my life because of the fact is I focused and I made sure that I made the commitment to make sure I took care of myself. It's not an excuse. You can't use that. The thing is, I will tell you is you're tired. And it's because you're not utilizing your best energy for the best things you need to be doing every day. So this is what I got for you guys today. And I want to say this is I really wanted to just, kind of step away from just, the losing fat and the different things about that, because I want you to know that you're sitting here and maybe as you think about your fitness journey and you think about the things that you want to accomplish in your life and you think you need to find some secret, that you need to find, the exact thing you need to eat and you need to find the best workouts available. Majority of the time, it's other things like the fact that your energy is terrible because you're not managing your energy correctly. Maybe because you're not putting the right logs on the fire, the things that matter the most on a daily basis, and you're focusing on things that are just killing your time and wasting your time. So my encouragement, what I want you to think today is I want you to start to look at, today is Monday. You have an entire week to start making these changes. What I really want you to do is I really want you to start thinking about that 3 hours, the 4 hours that you have your best focus and your best energy. And I want you to start prioritizing the most important things. Get your life together. If you're working as an entrepreneur, focus on doing your best work, your content, your education, your self-development. Put the time in. If you got a business or a career and your customers need you, if that's the most important thing you need to do, utilize that time, mono-focus and group those things together. Make sure that you understand that that's the best part. And when it starts to come back, we can start talking about how you can really take on a complete fitness program to allow yourself to start getting in shape, feeling great, getting back to the way that you want to, or getting to a place that you've never gone before, because you got order in your life. You've got a routine that you don't have to think about, and you can now start placing things and building better habits for yourself. So that's the goal for you guys today. So I hope you guys really like this one. What I will tell you is, today is the last Monday of April, and the year is flying by, and I will tell you some great things are coming. I want to tell you right now that there are so many things to look ahead for yourself. If you start applying the things I'm talking about, I've talked to you about so many things when it comes to your fitness levels. I've talked to you about so many things when it comes to personal development, this energy management, all the things. And I'm going to continue every Monday at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. Come on here, talk to you directly. I want to connect with you. I want you to know how committed I am to helping you see past the junk that's in front of you so you can get to the places that you really want to be. So I see you on here. I see you, Joe. Thank you, Joe Frazier, for jumping on here. Tasha, Marty, Emma, thank you guys for jumping on here. I think, really when it comes down to, I get on these things because I really want to make sure I can make a difference and make an impact in your life. We're connected in some way. So I will ask this last thing for the ladies. I'm going to post here in the group chat. I'm going to do that right now. And what I'm going to do in the chat is I'm going to post a link, and that link is going to be to schedule an interview with me. And I want to be able to schedule this interview with you because where am I at? I want to schedule this interview with you because it's going to help with some of the things I'm working on. The best thing about it, and I don't know where it's at right now. I'm going to post it in the group here in just a second, but if you click on the link, what it's going to do is you're just going to enter your information and you're going to pick a time that's best for you. And then we're going to do it on Zoom. So I'm looking for ladies, if you are currently working on your fitness program or on your health or your health and fitness, possibly a former athlete, I want to talk to you, right? I want to talk to you because I have some things I'm working on and I want to be able to get some insight from you. But that would be just a quick thing. It's only 20 minutes. And I will make sure that it's a win-win. I do have a gift for you for your time. So I'll post the link in the comments. Just click on the link. You'll be able to book your time. You're going to get the Zoom link and we'll be able to do that. We're going to get that done this week. So I'm excited to connect with you guys. Fellas, thank you guys last week for your help. Ladies, thank you so much in advance for jumping on that link. But I'll see you guys next week. If anybody, you guys have any questions, you guys need any help, you're connected to me. It's easy to to contact me. I see you, Tasha, 2 weeks into my 6-week challenge. That's what I'm talking about, girl. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Congratulations. We got to talk about that, how that's going. Okay, I love it. And the thing is 6 weeks you can do a lot of things. And I hope that today what I talked about can help you focus on really being able to effectively work through your program and find ways to really push yourself so you can get the best results in those 6 weeks. So I'm excited to hear about that. But guys, I'm back on here 4:30 Pacific Standard Time every Monday. Connect with me. I will be posting that link very shortly here for you guys to jump on. But thank you so much for jumping on the live today. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday.